Welcome to my channel, HD Rare Coins 111. In this video I am going to tell you about the Lincoln Pennies of the United States of America, which is very valuable and rare. Top 1. The 2009 American Lincoln Penny D Mint Mark is more than just a coin. It represents a deep historical legacy, a celebration of one of the greatest U.S. presidents, and a treasure for collectors. This penny was released in a special year, marking the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the centennial of the Lincoln penny itself. It is a coin that stands out not just for its design but also for its value, rarity, and the errors that make certain versions worth an astonishing amount today. The history of the Lincoln penny dates back to 1909 when the U.S. Mint made the groundbreaking decision to feature Abraham Lincoln on the 1-cent coin. Before this, American coins bore allegorical figures and representations of liberty, but never an actual person. This change was significant and was meant to honor Lincoln's legacy on the 100th anniversary of his birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the original Lincoln penny featured his profile on the obverse and wheat stalks on the reverse. Over time, the reverse design evolved, but Lincoln's portrait remained unchanged for more than a century. By 2009, to celebrate Lincoln's 200th birth anniversary, the U.S. Mint introduced a special 4-design reverse series, each depicting a different stage of Lincoln's life. These designs made this particular year's penny one of the most collectible versions ever produced. The Denver Mint, indicated by the D Mint mark below the date, was one of the key production facilities responsible for minting these coins. Though millions were produced, certain rare variations and errors have made specific versions of this penny incredibly valuable. The first design showcases Lincoln's humble beginnings with a log cabin, symbolizing his early childhood in Kentucky. It reflects the modest origins of a man who would go on to become one of the most influential leaders in history. The second design captures Lincoln's formative years, showing him sitting on a log, reading a book. This image represents his self-education and determination to rise above his circumstances, despite growing up in a poor frontier family. The third design presents Lincoln's early professional life in Illinois, standing before the state capitol. Here, he built his reputation as a lawyer, legislator, and debater, laying the foundation for his journey to the presidency. The final design features the U.S. Capitol dome under construction, symbolizing Lincoln's leadership during the Civil War and his role in preserving the Union. This special penny is not only historically significant but also a prized possession among collectors. Some versions of this coin have sold for incredible amounts due to rare minting errors. Among the most sought-after errors are double-die pennies, where elements of the design appear slightly duplicated due to a misalignment during the striking process. Another highly collectible variation is the off-center strike, where part of the design is missing due to a misalignment between the planchet and the die. In addition to errors, the condition of the coin plays a crucial role in determining its value. Uncirculated pennies with no wear and high mint state grades from professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can fetch thousands of dollars at auctions. Coins with sharp details, original mint luster, and no visible damage are especially valuable. Many collectors actively search for the 2009 Lincoln penny D Mint mark in rolls of pennies or coin collections, hoping to find an error or a well-preserved specimen. Some of these rare coins have sold for astonishing prices in auctions, making them one of the most desirable modern pennies among numismatists. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the incredible value of the rarest versions of the 2009 Lincoln penny D Mint mark. Some exceptional specimens have been sold for a staggering $24,250 at auctions, proving that even a single penny can hold an unimaginable worth. So, next time you come across a 2009 Lincoln penny, take a closer look. You might just be holding a small fortune in your hands. Top 2. The 1960 American Lincoln penny D Mint mark is a coin with a fascinating history, a unique place in numismatic collections, and a potential hidden fortune for lucky collectors. This coin belongs to the long-standing Lincoln cent series, which has been in circulation since 1909. However, the 1960 penny holds a special significance due to its unique variations, minting errors, and collector demand. The D mint mark, indicating that the coin was minted in Denver, adds to its distinctiveness, making certain variations of this penny among the most sought after by numismatists. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure, replacing the earlier Indian head cent design by Victor David Brenner. The obverse of the penny features a side profile of Lincoln, a design that has remained a defining feature of the coin to this day. Originally, the reverse depicted two wheat stalks, giving rise to the popular nickname, Wheat Penny. However, in 1959, the U.S. Mint introduced a new reverse design, featuring the Lincoln Memorial, in honor of the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This transition made the 1960 Lincoln penny the first full year of the Lincoln Memorial design, further increasing its numismatic importance. The Denver Mint, responsible for producing the D mint mark pennies, struck millions of these coins. However, despite their large mintage, certain varieties and errors have made some 1960 pennies incredibly valuable. One of the most famous aspects of the 1960 penny is the small date and large date varieties. These variations occurred because the mint used different sized numerals for the date during the production process. The small date 1960 D penny is rarer than the large date version, making it a highly sought after collectible. The difference is subtle but crucial. On the small date version, the 0 in 1960 is smaller and more level with this 6, whereas the large date version has a taller 0 that sits higher. Collectors and experts closely examine their pennies to determine whether they have the rarer variety. Beyond the date varieties, certain era coins from the 1960 D Lincoln penny series have dramatically increased in value. One of the most well-known errors is the double die obverse, where the numbers or letters appear to have been struck twice, creating a visible doubling effect. This happens due to a misalignment in the die during the minting process. Another rare error is the repunched mint mark (RPM), where the D mint mark was stamped more than once, leading to a slight overlap or shadow effect. Collectors also look for off-center strikes, where the design appears misaligned, as well as die cracks and clipped planchets, which are caused by manufacturing defects. These errors make a standard penny far more valuable, as they are rare and desirable in the world of numismatics. In addition to errors, the overall condition of the coin plays a crucial role in its value. Pennies that have been graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC and received high mint state (MS) grades, particularly MS 65 or higher, are far more valuable than circulated coins. Coins that retain their original red luster, known as red pennies, are worth more than brown or red-brown versions, as the vibrant copper tone increases their desirability. Because of these factors, collectors are always on the hunt for rare and valuable versions of the 1960 D Lincoln penny. Many have been found in old rolls of pennies, hidden away in collections, or even in everyday pocket change. Stories of lucky finds keep coin enthusiasts searching, hoping to uncover a hidden treasure among their coins. And now, for the most exciting part, the astonishing value of the rarest 1960 D Lincoln penny. Some of the most pristine, high-grade specimens with unique errors and rare varieties have been sold for a staggering $77,250 at auctions. This incredible price proves that even a single penny can be worth a fortune if it has the right characteristics. So, the next time you come across a 1960 D Lincoln penny, take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of history and a valuable treasure in your hands. Top 3. The 1961 American Lincoln penny is a coin that holds a unique place in the world of numismatics. Though it may seem like an ordinary penny at first glance, certain factors have made this coin highly desirable among collectors. Its history, design, minting variations, and rare errors all contribute to its increasing value, with some rare specimens commanding extraordinary prices at auctions. This coin is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, which has been a cornerstone of U.S. coinage since 1909. The 1961 Lincoln penny continues the tradition of featuring Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, a design originally created by Victor David Brenner to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. By 1961, The Lincoln Memorial reverse design had been in use for only 2 years, having replaced the previous Whittier's reverse in 1959. The Lincoln Memorial design, created by Frank Gasparo, depicted the famous Washington, D.C. monument dedicated to the 16th President of the United States. If you look closely at the reverse of the penny, you can even see a tiny engraving of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial, a remarkable detail that showcases the craftsmanship of U.S. coin designers. The 1961 Lincoln penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. Each mint produced millions of these coins, but not all pennies are created equal. Some varieties, minting errors, and high-grade specimens make certain 1961 pennies far more valuable than their face value. One of the most notable factors in the value of a 1961 Lincoln penny is its mint mark. The Philadelphia minted pennies have no mint mark, while the Denver and San Francisco mints produced coins marked with D and S, respectively. The D mint mark coins from Denver tend to be more common, while San Francisco minted coins are harder to find in high grades. A major factor influencing the collectability of a 1961 penny is its grade and color designation. Pennies can be categorized into 3 primary colors based on their condition: *red, RD. These pennies retain most of their original mint luster, giving them a bright, shiny appearance. *red brown, RB. These coins show some oxidation but still retain some red luster. *brown, BN. These pennies have darkened over time due to oxidation. The highest grade red, RD, pennies are the most valuable, especially when they have been preserved in pristine mint state, MS, condition, graded MS 65 or higher, by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Beyond grading, certain era coins from the 1961 Lincoln penny series have made collectors eager to search through their old pennies. Some of the most valuable errors include the double-dyed verse, DDO, where letters and numbers appear doubled due to a misalignment during striking. Another famous error is the repunched mint mark, RPM, where the mint mark was stamped multiple times, causing a shadowed effect. Other known errors include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks, each of which adds unique characteristics to individual coins. These errors occur due to slight imperfections in the minting process, making them rare and desirable among collectors. Despite millions of 1961 Lincoln pennies being minted, finding one in high-grade, uncirculated condition with an error or rare variety can be incredibly rewarding. Collectors spend years searching through old rolls, bank bags, and personal collections, hoping to uncover a rare coin that could be worth thousands. And now, for the most exciting part, the astonishing value of the rarest 1961 Lincoln penny. Some of the most pristine, high-grade specimens with unique errors and rare varieties have been sold at auctions for an incredible $75,250. This proves that even a simple penny, when rare enough, can become a hidden treasure worth a fortune. So, next time you come across a 1961 Lincoln penny, take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of history and a valuable numismatic prize. Top 4. The 1991 American Lincoln penny with the D mint mark is a fascinating piece of numismatic history. This small yet significant coin was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the primary U.S. mint facilities known for producing high-quality coins for circulation. At first glance, it may seem like just another penny in your pocket, but hidden within its details and rarity lies a story that has captivated collectors and enthusiasts alike. This coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design has remained largely unchanged since its introduction in 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. Lincoln's profile is sharply detailed, facing right, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," above, "Liberty," to the left, and the date, 1991, positioned to the right. The distinctive D mint mark, indicating it was struck in Denver, is placed just below the date, a small but crucial detail for identifying its origin. Flipping the coin over, the reverse showcases the magnificent image of the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Designed by Frank Gasparo, this detailed depiction of the memorial includes tiny engravings of Lincoln seated inside, visible upon close examination. Surrounding the memorial are the inscriptions: United States of America at the top and 1 cent at the bottom, with E pluribus unum centered above the memorial. The 1991 Lincoln penny was struck in large quantities, with millions of examples produced at the Denver Mint. However, what makes certain specimens particularly valuable is their condition, striking errors, and minting anomalies. Collectors eagerly seek out coins with full, sharp details, deep luster, and minimal signs of wear. Errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, or misaligned dies can significantly enhance the desirability and worth of these pennies. The composition of this coin is another factor that intrigues numismatists. Unlike older pennies that contained a significant amount of copper, the 1991 Lincoln penny was composed primarily of copper-plated zinc. This change in composition began in 1982 when the U.S. Mint shifted from a solid copper alloy to a zinc core with a thin copper coating. This transition was made to reduce production costs while maintaining the traditional appearance of the penny. Collectors value these coins based on their condition, rarity, and unique characteristics. A well-preserved, uncirculated example graded by a professional coin grading service can command impressive prices in the market. Certain rare variations and minting errors have led some 1991 Lincoln pennies to reach astonishing values in auctions and private sales. And now, the moment you've been waiting for: the incredible value of this rare 1991 Lincoln penny. If you happen to own one in pristine condition with unique errors or exceptional eye appeal, you could be holding a coin worth an astounding $33,250. Top 5. The 1973 American Lincoln penny is a fascinating coin that represents more than just its face value. It carries a rich history, a legacy of numismatic craftsmanship, and an unexpected rarity that has made it highly desirable among collectors. Though millions were minted, specific characteristics make some of these pennies incredibly valuable today. If you have one of these coins sitting in your collection, you might just be holding a small treasure worth far more than a single cent. The story of the Lincoln penny begins in 1909, when the United States Mint decided to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Up until that time, no U.S. coin had ever featured the image of a president. Instead, early American coinage typically displayed symbolic representations of liberty, such as allegorical figures. However, Lincoln's immense contributions to the nation, particularly his leadership during the Civil War and his role in abolishing slavery, made him an ideal candidate for this historic change in U.S. coin design. The obverse of the Lincoln penny was designed by Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-born engraver whose work on the coin was inspired by a portrait of Lincoln he had created earlier. His design featured a right-facing profile of Lincoln, a depiction that has remained largely unchanged for over a century. Above Lincoln's head, the national motto, "In God We Trust," is inscribed, a tradition that had been incorporated into U.S. coinage since the Civil War. To the left of Lincoln, the word "Liberty" is prominently displayed, while the date, 1973, appears to the right. Beneath the date, some of these pennies feature a mint mark indicating where they were produced: D for the Denver Mint and S for the San Francisco Mint. However, pennies struck at the Philadelphia Mint do not carry a mint mark. The reverse of the coin is equally significant, featuring a detailed depiction of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. This design was introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, replacing the original wheat ear design that had been used since 1909. Created by Frank Gasparo, this new reverse design included a minute yet remarkable detail: a tiny engraving of Lincoln's statue within the memorial. Above the image, the words, "United States of America," arc across the top, with the Latin phrase, "E pluribus unum, out of many one," positioned just below. At the bottom, the denomination, 1 cent, is clearly displayed. Millions of 1973 Lincoln pennies were struck across different U.S. Mint facilities, making them a common sight in everyday transactions at the time. However, despite their large mintage, not all pennies are created equal. certain rare varieties, minting errors, and high-quality specimens in uncirculated condition have caught the attention of collectors and investors alike. One of the most crucial factors determining a coin's value is its condition. Coins that have never been used in circulation, known as mint state or uncirculated, tend to be far more valuable than those that show signs of wear and tear. Professional grading services, such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, evaluate coins based on a numerical scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers indicating superior condition. A 1973 Lincoln penny graded at MS-67 or MS-68, mint state, is considered exceptionally rare and highly desirable. Beyond condition, certain errors and anomalies make some 1973 pennies particularly valuable. For example, double die errors occur when a coin is struck more than once by the die, causing design elements such as the date or lettering to appear doubled. Off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing due to improper alignment during minting, are another type of error that adds to a coin's rarity. Other errors, such as clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin's edge is missing, or die cracks, which create unusual raised lines on the surface, can also significantly increase a penny's worth. The composition of the 1973 Lincoln penny is another key factor to consider. Unlike modern pennies, which have a zinc core coated with copper, the 1973 penny was still made of a 95% copper alloy. This composition gives it a distinctive weight and color compared to post-1982 pennies, which contain significantly less copper. As copper prices have fluctuated over the years, pre-1982 pennies have gained intrinsic value due to their metal content alone. However, the real value of a 1973 Lincoln penny comes from its rarity, condition, and unique characteristics rather than just its metal content. Another element that enhances the value of certain 1973 pennies is their historical significance. The early 1970s was a period of economic uncertainty in the United States, with rising inflation and fluctuating metal prices prompting discussions about changes in coin composition. Though the transition to zinc core pennies did not take place until 1982, coins from the 1970s remain an interesting part of this evolving numismatic landscape. Collectors and investors actively seek out rare and well-preserved examples of the 1973 Lincoln penny, often paying premium prices for those that meet strict grading and rarity criteria. Online auctions, coin shows, and private sales frequently showcase extraordinary specimens that command high values. If you happen to own a 1973 Lincoln penny with exceptional quality, or a notable minting error, you might be surprised by its market value. And now, the most anticipated part: the astonishing value of this rare 1973 Lincoln penny. If you have one in pristine condition with unique characteristics, you could be holding a coin worth an unbelievable $43,250. Top 6. The 2006 American Lincoln penny is more than just a small copper-plated coin used in everyday transactions. It holds historical significance, numismatic appeal, and in rare cases, remarkable value. While billions were minted that year, a select few stand out due to their exceptional condition, unique errors, or specific minting details that have made them highly desirable among collectors. If you happen to own a 2006 Lincoln penny, you might want to take a closer look. It could be worth far more than just 1 cent. The story of the Lincoln penny dates back to 1909 when the U.S. Mint introduced the design to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Before this, American coins typically featured symbolic representations of liberty rather than real historical figures. The decision to feature Lincoln was groundbreaking, marking the first time a U.S. president's likeness appeared on circulating currency. His enduring legacy as the leader who preserved the Union and abolished slavery made him a fitting choice for such an honor. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the Lincoln penny features a right-facing portrait of Lincoln. Above his head, the national motto, "In God We Trust," is prominently displayed. To the left, the word "Liberty" is inscribed, and to the right, the date, 2006, appears. Depending on the mint where the coin was struck, you may find a small mint mark below the date, D for the Denver Mint or S for the San Francisco Mint, while those minted in Philadelphia do not carry a mint mark. The reverse of the coin, designed by Frank Gasparo, features the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a design that was introduced in 1959 to replace the original wheat ears motif. This detailed depiction includes an extraordinary feature, a tiny engraving of Lincoln's statue inside the memorial, visible under magnification. The words, United States of America, stretch across the top, with the Latin phrase, E pluribus unum, out of many one, just below. The bottom of the coin displays the denomination, 1 cent. The 2006 Lincoln penny was struck in massive numbers, with billions entering circulation. However, the value of a coin isn't solely determined by how many were produced. Factors such as condition, rarity, and errors can make specific coins far more valuable than others. A standard circulated penny from 2006 holds only its face value, but pristine examples, those with errors, or coins struck in special finishes can be worth a small fortune. One of the key aspects of determining a coin's worth is its condition, graded on a scale from 1 to 70 by professional grading services such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. Coins that are well preserved, free of scratches, and maintain their original mint luster receive higher grades. A 2006 Lincoln penny graded at MS-67 or MS-68 is considered exceptional and can command a premium price. Beyond condition, mint errors add another layer of value. Some 2006 pennies feature double die errors, where parts of the design, such as the date or lettering, appear slightly duplicated due to a misalignment during the minting process. Other errors, like off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or die cracks, create unusual variations that collectors eagerly seek. These anomalies make a coin unique, and the rarer the error, the higher the potential value. In terms of composition, the 2006 Lincoln penny differs from its pre-1982 counterparts. While older pennies were made of 95% copper, those minted from 1982 onward contain a zinc core with a thin copper plating, making them significantly lighter. This change was implemented to reduce production costs as the price of copper rose. However, despite its modern composition, the 2006 penny remains an important part of numismatic history, bridging the gap between traditional copper coinage and contemporary production methods. Another factor influencing the desirability of certain 2006 pennies is their connection to American history and monetary policy. By the early 2000s, discussions about discontinuing the penny had gained traction due to rising production costs. Though the penny remains in circulation today, the ongoing debate has only increased interest in collectible varieties, making some of these coins more sought after by numismatists. Collectors frequently search for high-grade or rarer Lincoln pennies from 2006 at auctions, coin shows, and online marketplaces. If you happen to find one in exceptional condition or with a notable error, its value could far exceed expectations. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for, the incredible value of a rare and pristine 2006 Lincoln penny. If you own one in top condition with unique characteristics, it could be worth an astonishing $27,250. Top 7. The 1975 American Lincoln penny with the D. Mint mark is a fascinating coin that carries both historical significance and numismatic appeal. While pennies are often overlooked in everyday transactions, some possess extraordinary value, making them highly sought after by collectors. If you have a 1975 Lincoln penny from the Denver Mint, it may be worth more than just 1 cent, especially if it is in exceptional condition or features rare minting errors. The Lincoln penny has been a staple of American currency since its introduction in 1909, marking the first time a U.S. president appeared on a circulating coin. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the penny features a right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, honoring the 16th president's legacy. Above Lincoln's head, the words, "In God We Trust," are inscribed, with "Liberty" to the left and the date, 1975, to the right. The D. Mint mark, found just below the date, signifies that this coin was minted in Denver. The reverse of the coin, designed by Frank Gasparo, showcases the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. This design replaced the original wheat ears motif in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. The detailed depiction includes a small engraving of Lincoln's statue within the memorial, visible under magnification. Above the memorial, United States of America is inscribed with the Latin phrase, E pluribus unum, just below. At the bottom, the denomination, 1 cent, is prominently displayed. In 1975, the U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies across 3 facilities: Philadelphia, No Mint Mark; Denver, D Mint Mark; and San Francisco, S Mint Mark. The vast majority of these coins entered circulation, making them common in lower grades. However, collectors seek out pristine examples, rare varieties, and unique errors that can make certain 1975 pennies far more valuable than their face value. One of the key factors in determining a coin's worth is its condition, which is graded on a scale from 1 to 70 by professional services such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. A 1975 Lincoln penny in high mint state condition, MS-67 or MS-68, is rare and can fetch significant premiums in auctions. Coins that have retained their original luster, with no wear, scratches, or discoloration, are the most desirable among collectors. Mint errors also play a crucial role in a coin's value. Some 1975 pennies exhibit double die errors, where parts of the design appear duplicated due to misalignment during the minting process. Other valuable errors include off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks, each of which makes a coin unique. The rarer the error, the higher the demand and price among collectors. Another aspect of the 1975 Lincoln penny is its composition. Like all pennies minted before 1982, it consists of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it a distinct weight and feel compared to modern pennies, which are primarily zinc with a thin copper coating. Due to the high copper content, older pennies have intrinsic metal value, which fluctuates with copper prices. While it remains illegal to melt down U.S. coins for their metal content, this factor adds to the overall interest in pre-1982 Lincoln pennies. Beyond condition and errors, historical context adds to the significance of the 1975 Lincoln penny. This was a time of economic shifts in the U.S., with rising inflation affecting the value of money. The continued production of copper pennies during this period reflects a transitional phase before the shift to lower-cost zinc-based coinage in the 1980s. Because of these factors, collectors often seek out well-preserved examples from the 1970s, including the 1975 penny. Finding a valuable 1975 Lincoln penny requires careful examination. Coins found in circulation typically show wear, reducing their worth to just face value. However, uncirculated examples, particularly those in mint rolls, coin sets, or with verified errors, can command substantial premiums in the numismatic market. Auction houses, online coin marketplaces, and collector networks are the best places to assess and sell rare Lincoln pennies. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the extraordinary value of a rare, high-grade 1975 Lincoln penny. If you happen to own one in pristine condition, free of blemishes, and with unique features, it could be worth an astonishing $28,250. Top 8. The 1979 American Lincoln penny is a fascinating coin that holds a special place in the world of numismatics. Though often overlooked in everyday transactions, some pennies carry hidden value due to their rarity, condition, or unique errors. If you own a 1979 Lincoln penny, especially in pristine condition or with an unusual minting anomaly, you might be holding onto a coin worth far more than a single cent. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation since 1909, when it was first introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features a right-facing portrait of Lincoln, with the words, "In God We Trust," inscribed above his head. To the left, the word Liberty appears, while the date 1979 is positioned to the right. Depending on where the coin was minted, it may or may not have a mint mark below the date, signifying its origin, either the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, the Denver Mint, D mint mark, or the San Francisco Mint, S mint mark. On the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, the Lincoln Memorial is prominently displayed. This design replaced the original wheat ears in 1959, marking the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Above the memorial, United States of America is inscribed with E pluribus unum just below it. The bottom of the coin bears the denomination 1 cent. Upon closer inspection, one can even see the small statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a remarkable detail that showcases the craftsmanship of the design. The 1979 Lincoln penny was minted in large quantities at all three major U.S. mint facilities. As a result, most of these coins remain common in lower grades. However, exceptional specimens, those preserved in high mint state condition or with significant errors, are highly sought after by collectors. A coin's grade is a major factor in determining its value. Numismatic grading services such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, use a scale from 1 to 70, with MS70 representing a flawless, perfect coin. While most 1979 Lincoln pennies are found in circulated condition, a few uncirculated examples have been preserved with sharp details, vibrant luster, and no signs of wear. These high-grade coins can fetch impressive prices at auction. Mint errors also contribute to a coin's value. Some 1979 Lincoln pennies exhibit double die errors, where parts of the design appear duplicated due to misalignment during the minting process. Other errors, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or clipped planchets, make certain coins unique and highly desirable to collectors. The rarer the error, the higher the value. Composition is another key factor to consider. The 1979 Lincoln penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which was the standard composition for pennies before the U.S. Mint transitioned to a copper-plated zinc alloy in 1982. Because of its high copper content, this coin is heavier than modern pennies and has a distinct feel. While melting pennies for their metal content is illegal, the intrinsic value of copper adds to the appeal of pre-1982 Lincoln pennies among collectors and investors. Beyond the physical attributes, the historical context of the 1979 Lincoln penny adds to its significance. The late 1970s was a period of economic shifts in the United States, with rising inflation affecting the value of money. The continued production of copper pennies during this time reflects an era of transition before the U.S. Mint sought cost-cutting measures by switching to zinc-based coinage. As a result, collectors often seek well-preserved examples from the late 1970s, including the 1979 Lincoln penny. If you happen to own a 1979 Lincoln penny, you may want to take a closer look. Coins found in circulation typically show signs of wear, reducing their value. However, uncirculated examples, particularly those with a bright red luster, sharp details, and verified errors, can command significant premiums. The best way to determine a coin's true worth is to have it professionally graded or sold through reputable coin dealers and auction houses. And now, the most exciting part: the astonishing value of a rare, high-grade 1979 Lincoln penny. If you own one in pristine condition with unique features, it could be worth an incredible $24,250. Top 9. The 1964 American Lincoln penny with the D mint mark is a remarkable piece of U.S. numismatic history. Though it may seem like an ordinary 1-cent coin, it holds unique characteristics that make it a valuable and sought-after collectible. For many collectors, pennies from the 1960s are significant because they mark the final years of the 95% copper composition before the U.S. Mint transitioned to other metal alloys in later decades. If you have a 1964 D Lincoln penny, you might be surprised by its hidden worth. The Lincoln penny has been a staple of American currency since 1909, introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin features a right-facing portrait of Lincoln with the words, "In God We Trust," above his head. To the left, the word "Liberty" is inscribed, while the year 1964 appears on the right. Below the date, the small D. Mint mark signifies that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. The reverse of the coin, designed by Frank Gasparo, showcases the iconic Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to replace the earlier wheat ears. This image provides a detailed look at the memorial, and if observed closely, one can even see the tiny figure of Lincoln seated inside. Above the monument, the words, United States of America, curve along the top, with E pluribus unum just below. At the bottom, the denomination, 1 cent, is prominently displayed. The Denver Mint produced millions of 1964 Lincoln pennies, making them relatively common in circulated condition. However, what sets certain coins apart are their exceptional state of preservation or unique minting errors. These factors significantly influence their desirability among collectors. One of the key elements determining a coin's worth is its grade. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70 by professional grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. While most 1964 pennies found in circulation exhibit noticeable wear, those in uncirculated, high mint state conditions with sharp details and a bright red luster can command impressive prices. Minting errors also play a crucial role in the rarity and value of a coin. Some 1964 Lincoln pennies exhibit striking errors such as double die obverse, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and die cracks. These errors, caused during the minting process, make certain coins unique and far more valuable than their face value. The rarer and more dramatic the error, the more collectors are willing to pay for it. Composition is another factor that makes the 1964 Lincoln penny special. Made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, these coins have a richer metallic content compared to the modern zinc-based pennies introduced in 1982. Because of their high copper content, these pennies have a distinct weight and feel, and they are often preferred by collectors who appreciate classic U.S. coinage. Beyond its physical attributes, the historical backdrop of 1964 adds another layer of significance. The mid-1960s was a period of economic change in the United States, with rising inflation and shifts in currency production. This was also the last year that the U.S. Mint produced pennies with no mint marks from the Philadelphia Mint, making 1964 a particularly notable year for collectors. If you come across a 1964 Lincoln penny, it is worth taking a closer look. While most examples have little value beyond their copper content, pristine specimens with a sharp strike, red coloration, and rare errors can be highly valuable. Professional grading is recommended for those who believe they have an exceptional piece, as authenticated high-grade coins often fetch premium prices in auctions and private sales. And now, the most exciting part, the astonishing value of a rare, high-grade 1964 Lincoln penny. If you own one in pristine condition with unique features, it could be worth an incredible $75,250. Top 10. The 1967 American Lincoln penny is a fascinating piece of numismatic history that holds significant interest for collectors. While it may seem like just another 1-cent coin, certain variations, pristine conditions, and minting errors have made some examples highly valuable. The story behind the 1967 Lincoln penny is intertwined with the changes in U.S. coin production during the 1960s, making it a crucial piece of history worth exploring. The Lincoln penny has been a cornerstone of American currency since its introduction in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin features Lincoln's right-facing profile, with "In God We Trust" inscribed above his head, Liberty, to the left, and the year 1967 to the right. Unlike other years, this coin does not have a mint mark. This was due to a temporary policy implemented by the U.S. Mint to combat coin hoarding, which had been affecting the availability of circulating coins. On the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the original wheat ears design in 1959. The detailed engraving showcases the famous monument, and with a keen eye, one can even see the tiny figure of Lincoln seated inside. The inscriptions, United States of America, and E pluribus unum, are found above, while 1 cent is displayed at the bottom. The year 1967 was a unique one for U.S. coinage. To address a coin shortage and discourage collectors from hoarding, the U.S. Mint suspended the use of mint marks from 1965 to 1967. This means all Lincoln pennies from this period were struck without a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, making them indistinguishable by location. Additionally, the government stopped producing proof sets and instead issued special mint sets, SMS, that featured higher quality coins with a semi-proof-like finish. These SMS coins are particularly desirable among collectors due to their sharp details and superior luster. Most 1967 Lincoln pennies were struck in large quantities and are common in circulated condition. However, those in exceptional, uncirculated states, especially with a bright red luster, can command high prices in the numismatic market. Coin grading plays a critical role in determining value, with the highest premiums reserved for coins graded MS67 or above by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Minting errors also add to the rarity and desirability of certain 1967 pennies. Some notable errors include double die obverse, off-center strikes, and die cracks. Double die errors, in particular, can significantly increase the coin's value, as they result from a misalignment during the striking process, causing design elements to appear doubled. Coins with dramatic off-center errors or missing elements from the striking process are also highly sought after. Composition-wise, the 1967 Lincoln penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, similar to other pennies from this era. This copper content gives the coin a heavier feel compared to modern zinc-based pennies introduced in 1982. Due to the rising value of copper, even common Lincoln pennies from the 1960s have become more desirable over time. Historically, the late 1960s was a time of economic and social change in the United States. The temporary removal of mint marks was one of many government efforts to stabilize the economy and ensure a steady supply of coinage. This decision impacted collectors and has made certain coins from this period more intriguing and collectible. If you come across a 1967 Lincoln penny, it is worth examining closely. While many are common, those in pristine condition or with rare minting errors can be valuable. Professional authentication is recommended for those who believe they have an extraordinary specimen, as high-grade coins often fetch premium prices in auctions. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the incredible value of a rare, high-grade 1967 Lincoln penny. If you possess one in pristine condition with unique attributes, it could be worth an astonishing $68,250. Top 11. The 1980 American Lincoln penny is a small yet fascinating piece of numismatic history, capturing the attention of collectors and coin enthusiasts alike. While it may seem like an ordinary 1-cent coin, certain variations, minting errors, and pristine conditions make some of these pennies exceptionally valuable. The 1980 penny marks an important transition period in U.S. coinage, setting the stage for changes that would come in the following years. The Lincoln penny has been a mainstay in American currency since its introduction in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin features Lincoln's iconic right-facing profile, accompanied by the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," above, "Liberty," to the left, and the year, 1980, on the right. Depending on the mint that produced the coin, it may carry a mint mark below the date. Coins struck in Philadelphia bear no mint mark, while those from Denver carry a D, and those from San Francisco are marked with an S. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, showcases the Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the original wheat ears design in 1959. The fine details of the memorial, including a tiny depiction of Lincoln seated inside, make this design unique. The inscriptions, "United States of America," and "E Pluribus Unum," arch above, while 1 cent is prominently displayed below. The year 1980 was significant for Lincoln pennies as it marked the final full year that these coins were struck with the traditional 95% copper composition. Starting in 1982, the U.S. Mint transitioned to a predominantly zinc-based penny due to rising copper costs. This makes the 1980 penny one of the last of its kind, giving it an added layer of collectability. These pennies have a weight of 3.11 grams, significantly heavier than the later zinc versions, which weigh only 2.5 grams. Lincoln pennies from 1980 were produced in large quantities across 3 U.S. mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint alone struck over 7.4 billion pennies, while the Denver Mint contributed over 5.1 billion, and the San Francisco Mint produced proof versions for collectors. While circulated versions are common, uncirculated coins with a deep red luster or rare minting errors can command high values in the numismatic market. Coin grading plays a crucial role in determining the value of a 1980 Lincoln penny. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC assess coins based on their condition, with the highest values going to those graded MS67 or above. Coins with full, original red coloration, referred to as RD in grading, are particularly desirable. Minting errors also add to the rarity and value of certain 1980 pennies. Notable errors include double die obverse, off-center strikes, and broad strikes. Double die errors, where the design appears slightly duplicated due to misalignment during striking, can significantly increase a coin's value. Coins struck off-center or missing elements from an incomplete strike are also sought after by collectors. The historical backdrop of the 1980 Lincoln penny is tied to economic changes in the United States. The rising cost of copper was a pressing concern, leading the U.S. Mint to begin experimenting with alternative materials. Although the transition to zinc-based pennies officially occurred in 1982, the economic discussions and planning took place in the late 1970s and 1980. This context makes the 1980 penny an important part of the timeline leading to one of the biggest changes in U.S. coinage history. For collectors, the search for rare and valuable 1980 Lincoln pennies continues. While most are common in circulated condition, those in exceptional, uncirculated states, or with unique mint errors are highly sought after. If you come across a 1980 penny with sharp details, deep red coloration, or an unusual strike, it's worth having it evaluated by a professional grading service. And now, the moment you've been waiting for: the incredible value of a rare, high-grade 1980 Lincoln penny. If you possess one in pristine condition with unique attributes, it could be worth an astonishing $50,250.